Hi, guys, and welcome to the Rope Break podcast with myself and
I'm Dan.
Dan.
What's going on, guys?
Yeah, so another week in wrestling. Lots been going on. We're obviously gearing up for WrestleMania. We had the Rock concert on Friday night on SmackDown, and it it was weird because he came out playing a face character.
Yeah, I know.
He
It
even
was
he
weird.
turned around. He said he can't be mad here because this is where I started my wrestling career.
Yeah,
And then he done like the Rock concert, which he's done before, but
yeah,
it seemed a lot more. He definitely wasn't a heel. It didn't come
yeah,
across as like, even though there were some lyrics and stuff where it got a bit of booze. I still think that it was
yeah.
sort of in between. It was a weird thing.
Yeah, it was kind of like a babyface promo, but
Yeah,
he in his promo he was attacking two current babyfaces. That's the only bit that was weird. But
yeah,
um, obviously he only got booed when he was slagging off Cody and Seth. But yeah, I think they've just I think what's happened is WWE have realised Rock is never going to be a heel how they want him to be ever again because there's too many fans who love him. There's
yeah,
just too many fans that no matter what he says, no matter what he does, I
yeah,
mean, you've got people there that are like, Rock, call me an asshole. I want you to
yeah,
call me an ass. Like they want him to insult him because then for the rest of their life they can tell their friends, I was live and Rock called me a Method Mary or whatever it is. Like, do
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, that's like a badge of honor. You know,
yeah.
people. But it's like the whole. You know, if to just slightly go off topic, it's like why. Do you remember? Do you remember when MJF got into so much shit for spilling that water on that kid? Like,
Well, not only that,
but
talking about MJF.
yeah,
If you've ever seen him at a signing or anything at conventions and stuff like that, he swears. He
yeah,
messes up like video, like photo shoots. He's always swearing at people, and yeah, he's like
yeah. I
full
just love him.
character all the time.
Yeah, I mean, look, listen. Just before we went live, we were chatting about Max and MJ. Like my I don't really have favourites like I did when I was a kid. There's people that I like and there's people that I don't like. I think Cody would be up there in terms of if you were going to say favourites. I do like Cody, obviously Orton, people like that. But
Yeah,
always I find underrated. But I think if you were to ask me who I think the best in ring wrestler in the world is, I'd probably say Will Ospreay. If you ask me who I think the best all rounder in the world currently is, I probably would say MJF because he's not only ridiculously good in the ring, he's probably one of the best workers on the mic. And I think something that he has that almost no one has anymore is he lives his life in kayfabe. He doesn't care that social media's kind of ruined the whole kayfabe thing. And, like, you never know whether what he's saying is true or false. So obviously, there's a lot of heavy rumours, a lot of it coming from AEW fans, of course, that he's secretly re-signed a contract with AEW. And like, we signed that 12 months ago. He's signed a 5-year deal. There's
yeah,
loads of people saying that. But MJF's always said, no, like 1st of January, my contract is up. Now, yes, he probably got legitimately injured. I do think there probably was a legitimate injury there, but at the same time, it's hard when Sean Ross Sapp and Fightful say no, he's legitimately injured because they are so good at what they do. But I think because AEW is different, and I think especially with MJF, the way that if MJF tell people that I've got this injury
yeah,
when he hasn't, do you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
there is ways around it, and I think the problem, which is so exciting, but the problem to try and predict whether Max will, potentially debut for WWE at WrestleMania or whether he'll go back to AEW, no one knows, and that's exciting and it's healthy for the wrestling business that
yeah,
we've
yeah,
got someone as big as MJF, who everyone, even when he's a heel, everyone loves him, because he's a scumbag, but he's our scumbag. Do you know what I mean? So like,
yeah,
it's one of them things where he's almost so good at what he does. It's similar to Rock, like when he's a heel. There's always going to be fans cheering for him and fans loving him because even though he's a heel, what he says is funny and what he does. hits people, and the fact MJF has managed to do that at such a young age is.
Well, there was two posts this week. One of them was, hang on, I don't know what happened there. Sorry about. There was two posts made this week. One of them was the MJF interview that he did.
Yeah.
Where he said that I think he came out and he said he wasn't injured. He's biding his time. When he's mentally ready, he will come back. But he wants to make sure he's mentally there first. And also as well, I think it was DDP actually put a picture of MJF and Cody, obviously in AEW, but it said on the bottom, I can't wait for round 2.
Yeah.
I was like, well, hang on a minute, what's all that about?
Yeah, which is obviously what we were chatting about before we went live, where I said I've got a feeling that MJF's going to debut for WWE at Mania, and I think he's going to make the save for Cody in night 2. I think I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it. I mean, to be honest, I don't know how they're going to do it. I've got a feeling Austin's going to get involved, whether that be in night 1 or night 2. But I think, obviously with Rock being involved with Bloodline, there's heavy rumours Austin's going to be involved because he's in. I mean, I don't know if you've seen some of the videos that's been posted on his Instagram. The man is in outrageous shape for his age. He looks unbelievable. Like he's like 57 or something. He's got an 8-pack. I hate him. The bald bastard. But he's just, his late 50s, and he looks insane. He looks incredible. And look, I think for me the biggest surprise in terms of when you see someone who retired from injuries, but also is now older and in the 50s, I don't think you'll ever see anyone return and look as good as Austin did against Owens a couple of years ago at Mania. Like, it was absolutely mind blowing. That no holds barred match. Me and Bex watched it last night actually because she'd not seen it, and she was like, "How old is he here?" I said, "I think he's about 55 here." We did this. And she's like, "What the?" He's taking suplexes onto concrete. He's everything he did looked amazing. You're like, hang on a minute, you've not wrestled in nearly 2 decades. He's not had a match in 19 years at that point.
Yeah.
And he retired because his knees, his back, and his neck were
neck.
Thread. Do you know what I mean? Like, he'd had a broken back, he'd had a broken neck. Both, obviously, it's so iconic. Like, when you think of Austin, I don't know about you, I see the fucking steel knee braces. Like, it's so iconic, that look with him with the steel knee braces on. But like, his body was completely shot. So if you actually watch the match that he had against Owens, it's like, how is he capable of doing that in his 50s, 20 years after he'd retired? And he had all them injuries 20 years ago. And as you get older, as you know, no offense, but do you know what I mean? Like, you're obviously like 10 years old.
Yeah, I've got my knee braces down here. Yeah. So my knee braces.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. As you get older, your body weakens anyway. So it's like, it was amazing. I think I don't know whether it'll be night 1 or night 2, but I think Austin will definitely get involved somewhere. Probably maybe night 1. Maybe Seth turns on Cody, and then Seth walks out. So Cody's on his own and he's battling Rock and Roman on his own 2-on-1, and then Austin comes out and helps him. I don't know whether Rock's going to turn now night 2. Obviously, that's what it looks like, is that Rock's going to turn on Roman in night 2. But like me and you were saying earlier, after Mania, he's going shooting a film for the next 3 months. So why would you turn him on Roman and then go, "Oh yeah, sorry, I'm gone now for the next 3 months"? So
that's what I was thinking, and I think we've been concentrating on the wrong person. We think, The Rock's going to screw over Roman. I don't think any of that's going to happen. I think it's going to be Paul Heyman. He's got form. So he was Brock Lesnar's manager and screwed Brock Lesnar over. Well, he was Kurt Angle's manager, screwed over Kurt Angle. CM Punk as well. He's got form for screwing over his clients or his people that he's managing. Yeah. And I'm just wondering, because he keeps turning up on Raw and SmackDown. I know there's people there, but he keeps saying, now, he used to turn around and say, "I'm on official Bloodline business." But the last couple of times he's turned up on Raw, he said, "I'm here on business." But he's not said it's Bloodline business. He said, I'm doing business here. And
Well,
I don't know, it seems like maybe we're looking at the wrong person. Maybe we're looking at Paul Heyman.
It could be Heyman, it could be Solo, it could be Jimmy. Like, there's so many interesting dynamics that could go on in that storyline. I just got a feeling that I think what'll happen is, like I said, Stone Cold will come out night 1 and help Cody in the tag match. Night 2, it might even be night 2. But I don't think that I can't. Let's just say, for example, Stone Cold and MJF are appearing. I don't think you do Stone Cold and MJF coming out of surprises in the same match.
On the same night.
It's overload. It's too much. And if Stone Cold comes out first, everyone's going to go fucking apeshit because it's Stone Cold.
Yeah.
So when MJF's music hits, this is his big moment, and people are still out of breath and their adrenaline's like coming down from Stone Cold. You can't then like get back. It will kind of ruin it. So I think Stone Cold will be night 1, and then night 2, I think MJF will come out and help Cody finish the story. Obviously, it makes sense. We know that Max and Cody are really close. Obviously,
there's
no real life.
There's still 2 weeks to go. There's still a lot that I think can happen. I think there's still a few matches to sort out, but it looks like we've got the majority of the matches now.
Have you seen the Hardy Boys stuff?
Yeah. So Matt's contract was. I don't think they've renewed Matt's contract.
Yeah.
There was rumours circling that he's asked for Jeff to leave as well, or for them to shorten his contract.
Which makes sense.
And then he was obviously at Raw this week.
Yeah. And Jeff put on his Instagram that he's going to be in Philadelphia on the 4th of April.
And there's lots of rumours about them coming back in some capacity.
It'll be during the ladder match, the tag team.
Yeah, I wanted to go back on that because obviously we started talking about SmackDown, and obviously we had.
Did they not? My issue with it is, it's let's say that happens. That's literally how the Hardy Boys returned
last time. Yeah.
In a ladder match at WrestleMania.
At WrestleMania.
It's like, would you do the exact same thing again? I'm not so sure.
But yeah, I wanted to get back onto SmackDown because there was a few things that bugged me this week about that tag matches really.
Oh, I love a Kev rant. Come on, give me
right.
A Kev.
So firstly, we had some tag matches on Raw, right? And the people that won and went straight in to the match at Mania.
Yeah.
Right. And then, but for some reason on SmackDown we had brackets. So obviously Pete Dunne and that won, and I can't. It was so long ago. It was last. I can't even remember. We had the other team that won, and they're going to face each other this week to go into the WrestleMania match. Yet on Raw, they didn't do the bracket thing. They just had the matches, and whoever won went into that match.
Yeah,
it's a bit like, why have they done the bracket thing on SmackDown but not on Raw? I know it's 3 hours long, but they still got enough tag teams. It was just sort of like.
Do you know what? I guarantee your reaction was the same as mine and Bex's. When you seen that one of the matches was DIY versus Creeble, did you go, "Oh no"? Because I wanted both of them in it.
This is what I mean. The same thing happened on SmackDown as well. Because I wanted Pretty Deadly because I think they're really great. I actually quite like Pretty Deadly.
I find them irritating, but they are good at what they do.
They're brilliant. I don't know if it's just because they're British and I find them like quite funny.
More than that, they're from London. You're from London.
They just come across with it, but they obviously they had a match with Pete Dunne and Tyler Bates, and I was like, it's a bit like you. It's like, man, I want both of them in.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, really? And then you had Legado del Fantasma. They went through as well. Yeah. But the thing was that on Raw, when DIY won, they went straight through. But on SmackDown, what they've done is they've done 2 brackets. So you've got the Crash Republic versus Legado del Fantasma, and whoever wins out of that match this Friday is going into the Mania match. And I'm like, why didn't there's 2 spaces for tag teams on Raw? So why don't you just put both of them in? I just don't understand it. I just thought Why have they
Yeah,
done Raw, not SmackDown?
yeah. Do you know? I'll be honest. People are going, yeah, but you know, the young will come again. I don't care. Like the Creed brothers,
The
whether
Creed
they
brothers
win
should
the
have been in
titles
it.
or not. Like if like this is WrestleMania, you should have the best possible tag teams
Yeah,
in there. Now, like, yes, in terms of like what the fans want, you know, look, Miz and R-Truth are a thrown together tag team. They're not like a world class tag team, but everyone's loving them in a minute. Do
well,
you
some
know?
truth.
So
Yeah,
so so having them in there for the fans to cheer, and obviously R-Truth will do something stupid. I think he'll think it's a Royal Rumble match and start throwing everyone out.
yeah,
You know, like, so I get that, but there's only so many comedy spots that you want in it. You want the majority of them to be world class tag. And I know that they're young, and I know they've not been up long. I couldn't tell you now a tag team currently that looks better than them two. They are outrageously good. Like
yeah,
if you think that like Julius Creed is the dead skinny lanky one, and Brutus is the one that is
yeah,
massive, built like a bulldog. Yeah, Julius is the one with this almost subhuman power. Like I don't think I've ever seen a guy with his physique as out in that match against DIY. I know Gargano's not the biggest guy, but he lifts. He's got Ciampa an ankle lock, and with one arm, he lifts him up and flips him into a powerbomb position with one arm.
yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen anything like it in my life. They both unbelievable. The fact that they're not in that like imagine some of the spots that them two would have been able to do in that
Yeah.
Ladder Mania. It would have been amazing. It'd have been unbelievable with them.
There's
I
but as
don't
soon
I don't understand why the decision was made to not have a tag team as good as them not in that match. I don't get it.
yeah, I think I obviously last week we talked about them splitting the titles up, and now DIY and Awesome Truth are in it
Yeah,
makes that even more
yeah,
certain because I've got a funny feeling that our Truth's going to pull the belt down. He's going to then look at both belts and he's going to hand one to DIY, and Miz and Truth are going to have the other one
yeah,
to split them up. That's what I reckon's going to happen. I mean, even my wife said, Kirsty, she said, I can. Last week she said, I can. This is what's going to happen. They're going to both pull at the titles, and one of them will get one, and one will get the other. But now I'm thinking because our Truth's there,
yeah.
DIY, it makes it even more certain that that
Well, yeah,
sort of
because
scenario is going to happen.
because all four of them have been working together recently.
Yeah,
Because R-Truth thinks Gargano and Ciampa are Triple H and Shawn Michaels, doesn't it?
and that's what he's going to do. He's going to go, I'm going to give this to DX, and we're going to have
Yeah,
the red one, sort of thing. So I even think now that that's more what's going to
yeah, no,
happen.
it's definitely. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's going to happen. Yeah,
What will happen is I guarantee they'll go up on the ladders together, him and Gargano or him and Champa, and they'll look at each other and he'll pull one down, he'll hand it to one, he'll pull the other one down,
yeah, yeah,
and then there'll be some sort of confussion.
yeah.
The managers will come out and then they'll say,
We'll split them
we're
up.
splitting
Yeah.
the titles up, sort of thing.
The only thing I will say about that is both of them are currently on Raw, which would mean
Yeah,
one of them would have to go to SmackDown.
yeah. But who? I think DIY could. I think they could do quite well moving away from Raw.
Yeah, I think it's probably more likely to be Truth and Miz that go to SmackDown just for logistic reasons because they do try to keep married couples together, and obviously Gargano and Candice LeRae are married, and Candice is on Raw, so they'll probably move Miz and Truth to SmackDown if that happens.
Yeah, yeah. And then obviously on SmackDown as well, you had obviously Owens and Randy Orton there, where they done the stunner RKO joint thing.
Stunner. Do you know what? Like you've got to give. I think Grayson Waller's criminally underrated.
Yes, yeah,
So like he's the closest thing we have in WWE to an MJF. Now, I love Grayson Waller. It's nowhere near as good as MJF. MJF's in a
no,
league of his own, but he's the closest thing that we do have to an MJF. Um, I think they balance each other out quite well. I think Grayson Waller's criminally underrated in the ring. I think he's actually a very good wrestler, but I think out of the two of them, Theory is probably the more impressive. His physique and some of the moves that Theory does in the ring. Theory's probably got more of a flashier move set, but Theory's not great on the mic, whereas obviously Grayson Waller is. So I do think that they kind of work quite well together. I think both.
Yeah.
I think both of them right now probably do actually need each other.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So, and then we had a segment with Damage Control, and once again, like you said, Dakota was there talking, and Io was actually behind Asuka, like out the way at the corner as well, not front and center, right out the side, right in the corner. And I was like, man, could she? There was talk actually this week. Could she go down now as the worst or the least good WWE Women's Champion used? Because they've done done nothing.
She kind of has to be honest. It's like people kind of shit all over Carmella and Carmella's title reign, but Carmella did a lot more with that title than what Io Sky did, and without being disrespectful, because I don't mean it that way, but Carmella's nowhere near as good in the ring as what Io Sky is.
No,
so it's not anything to do with her ability.
She's hugely underutilized, and secondly, they've done nothing with her. It's obviously not her fault because she's good in the ring, but they've just not done anything with her.
It almost, with Io Sky, it feels like Vince is still in charge. But, like we know how high on Io Sky Triple H is. He brought her into NXT. He recruited her and signed her to NXT. We know how much Triple H loves Io Sky. So I'm very, very surprised that it's Triple H that has obviously kind of derailed the title run and give her nothing. She's not defended a title. She's the SmackDown Women's Champion, and she's been the sideshow act. She's been basically the manager to everyone else within Damage Control. Like when they were still together, Bayley, Dakota Kai, Kairi Sane, and Asuka feel more important in that group than what the fucking champion does. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of is that Io is injured. It's the only thing I can think of. That she's had an injury. She's not been cleared to wrestle. She's going to be medically cleared for Mania. But over the last 3 or 4 months, she's had an injury. She's not been able to wrestle. Unfortunately, because she can't wrestle, she can't. She's not great. She's not great on the mic. Her English is a lot better than what our Japanese would be. I'll give her that. Do you know what I mean? But it's still sometimes it's difficult to understand her. It's not their fault. I do feel sorry for them sometimes, like the Japanese, because I think if you actually really listen to them, they're actually saying the correct English words. It's just that their accent is that deep that it's really difficult sometimes to understand them.
Yeah, I just don't understand sort of what's happening.
I think she has to have an injury. Nothing makes if she's been fit, then nothing makes sense. It doesn't. So all I can assume is that she's had some kind of injury. I don't know. I have no idea.
Maybe they're gearing her up. I want Bayley to win, but I've got a funny feeling she's going to win somehow. And then go into a program with Cargill. I don't know.
I'd be absolutely stunned if Bayley doesn't win that match. I'd be absolutely astounded. I'm as close to 100% as I could possibly be that Bayley is going to. If Io Sky does win that match, it makes even less sense what they've done with the last 3 months. So you're not going to wrestle for 3 months, but then you're going to beat Bayley at Mania. I wouldn't make it.
I don't know. I could see it happening. I don't know what it is. I can just see it happening because there are some, like, everyone was talking online about this, saying the like they could see every title changing hands
apart from Rhea.
And I was like, they're going to throw a few curveballs in. They've got to. So I reckon Bayley. I reckon Io Sky beats Bailey, and I've got a funny feeling that Paul Logan is going to win.
Yeah, I'd be annoyed if Logan Paul wins.
Yeah,
I'll be yeah.
I've got a funny feeling he's in a triple threat match with Orton and Owens, and I could see them quite happily putting him over. And
Maybe.
I've got a distinct feeling that he is going to win that match.
I mean,
Logan's gonna win it. I want Kevin Owens to,
yeah, but
I've got a feeling.
The thing is, though, like my issue with that kind of match is, I would want either Owens or Orton, but which one out of the two do you give the United States title to? Both. I'd want both of them to win it because I love them both. I think probably Owens, just because he's at, like, Orton's had an incredible career. He's had a lot of title reigns, so I think putting a belt on Owens now would do more for him. Imagine if Owens wins the United States title and Sami Zayn wins the Intercontinental. You know, it'd be great. Last year they main evented night one and won the tag titles. Imagine if this year they both win the United States and Intercontinental titles. Obviously it'd be amazing for the pair of them too. But to be honest, the only one that I would want to retain and I think will retain is Rhea Ripley. I'd be very surprised if they take the belt off her because she's, it's kind of, it's different to the whole, like, Roman, like, obviously we all want Cody to finish his story. Roman's had the belt for so long and he's not there as often as we would want him to be. So that feels like it's the right time to take the belt off him. Gunther, it's weird. It's like, with Gunther, you kind of want him to drop the belt because he's so dominant. He doesn't look like anyone can beat him.
But you don't want him to lose.
Yeah, so you want him to drop the belt, but not, like, do you know what I mean? Like maybe Brock Lesnar comes out at Mania and attacks him, and that's how he loses the belt. I don't know, but or like you said, add Chad Gable to the match and have Sammy or Chad pin the other, so Gunther's involved. I don't know. But like with Rhea is different out of them three because even though Rhea's had the belt for quite a long time, and she's same as Gunther, she's dominated everyone. As a fan, I don't feel like her journey with the belt's ended. I feel like it's only just getting started. And I think it's because there's no one else that I think I'd rather have as Raw Women's Champion who could elevate it more than what she is at the minute. Like, it's almost insane how over she is. She's a heel in a faction that heals, yet her music hits and the fans go apeshit for her. I'd be very surprised if Becky beats. I
still think there's a bit of a curveball in Damian Priest because he's still got the briefcase. So I've got a funny feeling maybe they have their tag match on the first night.
Imagine if Damian cashes in on Rhea. I knew women's champion Damian Priest.
Yeah, I mean that was the thing as well because it was always for a world title, and then they said actually because obviously Theory cashed his in on the US Championship.
Yeah.
So it could be any title. So could he go after the Intercontinental one? Could he be the one that cost Gunther the match and walk out?
I just, like you said last week, the rivalry that is kind of been brewing a little bit between Priest and Drew. I'd be surprised if Priest doesn't get involved in Drew's match with Seth. The thing is, the difficult position that they're in is, are they going to cash Damian Priest in at Mania for him to then lose? Because I think everyone most people I know is kind of hoping a little bit that McIntyre is going to win, because it's time for Seth to drop the belt. It feels like the right time. I think he's either going to turn heel and go on a different run, or maybe take some time off and heal his body up, which would have been Seth Rollins. he needs time off to heal his body up, but I don't think he will because it's Seth Rollins and he's like, oh, I'll wrestle with a broken back. I don't give a shit, like which he's been doing for months because he's just a lunatic. But I think Drew McIntyre surprised a lot of people over the last few months. I think people, I think what actually turned it with him, just things I was reading on Twitter and also the reaction from the crowd when he came out and said, "From now on, I want you all to call me DM Hunk." Like from there, I think people went, "He's actually, do you know what? He's actually really funny." And then every week he's been posting things on Twitter. He's been saying
about
things in his promos.
About CM Punk as well.
Yeah, but he's been kind of having like I said on the last week, but like how clever what he's doing at the minute is, he's having a pop at Seth Rollins, but using the exact same words that Punk used in a promo that was actually bad against Punk because it was a personal life beef that he did in AEW. So he's actually slagging both off with one sentence. I think what he's done over the last few months. Not only do we all know he's good in the ring, I think people have realised, you know what, he's actually good at getting his character over. He's good at working the crowd. He's a good heel, and he's funny, and he's good at he's every week he's been coming up with something new and different and funny. And you've kind of got, I think a lot of people have gone, actually, even though he's a heel, I actually want Drew to beat Seth.
Yeah. I don't know because, like you said, they had he had the Judgment Day sort of thing going on. Drew did, so maybe they keep that going until CM Punk's about. Because I mean, he could win, and then because CM Punk, I think, is going to be at Mania. I mean, he's strapped up, but he said he's going to. I reckon he does something to Drew at the end of the match.
Yeah.
Priest comes out, pins him, still keeps his rival going with Punk until he's better, but also sends him into a program with Damian Priest for the world title.
Yeah, that'd actually be a really cool way of doing it as well. If you have McIntyre beat Seth, and then like you said, Punk attack McIntyre, take him out. Priest comes in and cashes in, but then at the next pay-per-view, I understand Priest would have only had the belt, say, a month, but at least they'll have had the belt. At least they'll have had the belt for a month, but then I definitely have Drew beat Priest for the belt, at the pay-per-view after Mania. Is it Backlash?
Normally Backlash,
I don't know. So I think that'd be a really cool way of doing it. Again, my only thing is with that is timing is apparently is out for 7 months, Punk.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's kind of in the Rock situation where it's like you get Punk costing McIntyre the belt, and then it's like, well, I'm not going to be back for like another 4 months. So again, it's like timing of it.
Yeah,
injuries, But it's like I do want to mention this actually. I was saying this to Bex when we were watching SmackDown. As much as I like it, a lot of people don't like the fact that how the main event in Mania this year. Roman's main evented like what feels like the last 25 WrestleManias in a row. Like it feels like he's main evented.
they had a tag match last year, didn't they? Didn't last year's first night was a tag match?
Yeah, it was Usos versus Owens and Zayn. But like, I think people are going, yeah, but Roman Reigns' main event is like 7 of the last 8 WrestleManias or something daft like that. And now Roman Reigns' main event in night 1 and night 2 of this year's Mania. But so like people are getting a bit pissed about it. But for me, the reason why I'm surprised about it is it doesn't matter at all for Rock. But what if Roman, Cody, or Seth get injured, especially Roman or Cody? If Roman or Cody get injured in night 1, which it can happen. It can happen. If Roman or Cody get a really bad injury, what do you do for the main event of WrestleMania night 2? I think you
would swap out Roman with The Rock. That's what I would do.
But again, it's still it's an unnecessary crazy risk that. I'm telling you now, if Vince was still there, there's no way that'd have been allowed to happen. For that reason, he'd have wanted to protect the main event of night 2.
Well, like I
I
said,
think,
I was surprised by the tag team match. I think that should have happened at Elimination Chamber. You should have had the tag team match, which we all sort of went.
yeah,
That
yeah,
should have happened at Perth. That should have happened at Elimination Chamber, but it didn't
yeah,
happen. But yeah, it's like you're saying, it's a risk because by putting all of them in the main event, something could happen. You know what it's like. You know, they could slip,
yeah.
whatever, and then
It happens.
jeopardizes everything going forward. So
I know he was old at the time, but like I know he was in like his like early 60s at the time. But Vince McMahon tore both his quads off the bone sliding into the ring.
yeah, at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, just getting in the ring, tore both
Yeah,
quads off the bone. Like it can happen. Injury, bad
yeah.
injuries happen.
It's like you're saying, it's interesting. I mean,
I think also another kind of curveball that could be thrown into the whole injury mix. Rock's not done this for a long time, so if an injury can happen in terms of timing being out or a slight misstep, it is likely that Rock could mistime something because he's not done it for so
yeah,
long. So to risk your main event of night 2 being completely ruined by an injury, it's like it's maybe maybe not. I don't know. I don't think WWE pay that much attention to what AW do, and I don't think Vince even watches AW. But I think if you look at what happened at AW's Wembley show last year, the fact that Adam Cole and MJF opened the show and closed the show, like maybe that they wanted to do something, maybe if they can do it in the same night, we can do it on 2 different.
They used to years and years ago. If you remember when they used to do the King of the Ring,
Yeah,
they used to have the semis, quarters, and then obviously the final, in the same pay-per-view.
yeah.
So in theory, I mean, Austin did it. I think Austin done it. He wrestled 3 times in one night.
Yeah, that's when the Austin 316 said, "I just kicked your ass."
Yeah, and then you also got to think as well. Jericho did the same thing. So Jericho beat The Rock and Austin on the same night for the Undisputed World.
Daniel Bryan beat Triple H, and then he beat Batista and Randy in the main event of WrestleMania 30.
Brock Lesnar done it. He won the King of the Ring. He done 3 matches in one night. So it can be done.
Do you know what? When you mentioned earlier about Brock, and when you were on about you said Heyman might turn.
Yeah.
You mentioned he used to manage Brock. Have you seen Brock's now back on everything? He's back in the promo beginning.
Yeah.
He's been added back to the website so you can buy his merch. He's actually back on the active roster.
Yeah.
So like, if I'm Brock Lesnar though, I'd probably be turning around to WWE and saying, "Go fuck yourself." I would. I'd go fuck yourself. I'm never wrestling for you again. Because what has that done for his character? What has that done?
I think what happened was there was like an investigation. There was an investigation, and they've removed him from everything, and it's turned out to be false or something.
You can't do that.
Come back.
But you can't do that because we're not talking about that now. We're talking about real life, and people think for the last few months, like Bex loves Brock Lesnar. She's got his hoodie, mate. We've got 2 guinea pigs. She named one Brock. She fucking loves him, right? So, but she's going, for the last few months, I can't wear my Brock Lesnar hoodie anymore. And I'm like, why? Well, because of how brutal WWE were, and they removed him off everything. It was like he didn't even exist anymore. It was like Brock Lesnar no longer exists. That makes it seem horrendous that whatever Brock Lesnar had allegedly done, they had evidence of it, and it was really bad, which is why they pulled him off everything. So now they've obviously re-added him again. Obviously, he's obviously innocent. He's obviously not done anything wrong. But if I'm Brock Lesnar, I'm going, hang on a minute. Because of your actions, you've damaged my character and what people think of me irreparably. Because there's going to be people now who, no matter what happens from this day on, they're going to see me as someone capable of sexual harassment, rape, whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like how quickly they went, oh shit, and they pulled all these matches off the network, or tried the best to. Obviously,
Yeah.
a lot of big matches have been pulled off. You know, like posters, advertisement, pulled off the merch website. You couldn't buy his merch anymore. We know how much they love making money and selling merch. That must have hurt them.
Yeah.
They pulled him out of the entrance promo at the start of Raw, where they show all the different wrestlers. They removed him from the company completely. Like that made everyone think, "Oh shit, he's done something really, really bad," and he obviously hasn't. But that is so poor, in my opinion, from them. All they had to do is what they did, similar with the whole Velveteen Dream thing, which is release a statement. We're aware of the allegations in the social that are going around social media against our employee Brock Lesnar. We are going to investigate them thoroughly. That's it. You don't have to pull him from the match at Royal Rumble. Pull him out of the Royal Rumble. Absolutely. Don't have him on TV while the investigation is going on. Completely fine. But to remove him off everything, no. Like you should only have done that once you had categoric evidence that he'd done something wrong, and they obviously haven't. And like I said, if I was Brock, I'd be telling them to go fuck themselves.
Yeah. I think you've said everything perfectly. I think, but yeah, going back to the old Paul Heyman thing, it's Paul Heyman's done it many times. He done it first to Brock Lesnar, to the Big Show, and then Big Show to Kurt Angle, and then he screwed Kurt Angle over as well, and then obviously CM Punk as well, screwed them over. So it plays along with his character, and it plays along with everything else. And he didn't really screw over Brock Lesnar the last time. He was. I remember they were having a match, weren't they? And they were like, "Who are you?"
He just,
you know what I mean?
Roman, didn't he? Yeah.
So I'm wondering, because we've seen all the things where Heyman's sort of looking at The Rock and The Rock doing the L and all of that, and Heyman's been behind the scenes sort of thing. Like, I'm just wondering whether we're looking at the wrong person. I'm wondering whether it's actually going to be Paul Heyman that screws over.
If Brock's back, they might decide to put Heyman back with Brock. So he might screw Roman over because he wants to go and work back with Brock again. Because I think in working with Brock would mean his schedule's a lot lighter. Obviously, we know that it's heavily involved backstage and stuff. But I think, like, if you think everything he's doing backstage with his writing, producing, he's obviously in quite a high position now within the creative machine that is WWE. He's obviously so important backstage, and he's got a lot of responsibilities and things he needs to get done. Maybe he's thinking a little bit less time on TV would help him, because if he's only going out on TV if Brock's there, well, you're talking, maybe two or three times to build something. And then nothing for 3, 4, 5 months. That's what Brock does. Brock will come back. He won't appear every week, but while he's back, you might see him 3 or 4 times over the space of 2 months, and then after the big match, he'll be gone for another 3, 4, 5, 6 months. That's what he does. So Heyman's probably looking at it and going, "Well, I'll have a much lighter schedule, on TV." So, and he's getting old. I think people constantly underestimate the genius of Paul Heyman. Not only is he incredible on the mic, it's those little added touches that he does to things. It's like when Bloodline was falling apart, obviously Roman got injured during the tag match that he did, where it was Roman and Solo versus the Usos, and the Usos beat them. Jay pinned Roman. Apparently he broke his rib in that match. So Roman was gone for like 6 or 7 weeks. We didn't see him. And then obviously Jay was turning on Jimmy, and Jay left the Bloodline, and Bloodline falling apart. And all his hair around the back and sides had turned completely grey. He'd not dyed it. It all
No,
went great,
no.
great through stress. But then as soon as Roman started coming back and things started going good again, he's dyed his hair black again.
Yeah,
Little things that people wouldn't even, most people even think
yeah.
of it, but he thinks of it. He's so good. He's so clever.
Do you think we're gonna see Rikishi in his matches?
During the yeah, I mean, it would definitely make sense. I don't, I don't see anyone else winning that apart from Jay. I can't see Jay not winning it because, I mean, it's almost. I don't know about you. When the Usos were baby faces, they were massive anyway. Like the fans have always loved them.
Yeah.
But I think I wasn't expecting Jay to be like this big.
Over. Yeah.
Like it's like the Rocks. It's like his big cousin, Big Dwayne's turned up. Like his music hits and they go ape shit.
Yeah.
They're all up doing the.
Did you also notice as well on Friday when The Rock was doing the concert? Did you hear him saying "trick"?
Yeah. Like I turned on to Bex and I said, "Right, you pull the trigger. You've got to pull him up, mate." Me and you've been doing this now for what, 5 years, on and off 5 years, right? How many times have we said that? How many times have you said people don't watch NXT?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of the fucking fans there must have.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. In the last couple of months, 6 months or so, people have started to notice because he not only that he's well over it, and they started saying it as well because The Rock was out in the shirt. They were what's that trick? And it was like, oh my god, man! He's like, even The Rock was like.
I think it took everyone by surprise. They've got to pull the trigger on it now. Like,
they've got to strike while the iron's hot because if they leave it, like they've done with Carmelo, like they've done with Carmelo, I think they've left it too long now.
Yeah,
but with Trick, you want to strike it while it's hot now. Strike it while it's hot.
Right. In all your years, and you've watched a lot more NXT than what I have. So answer me this: have you ever heard someone who's only really been on NXT for a short amount of time in the grand scheme of things? He's only been in the big picture for a short amount of time. Have you ever heard a main roster crowd chanting that loudly for an NXT star? Because I've never ever heard it. I've never heard that before.
No.
It was it was so loud. Like there were so many people chanting that trick. Like it was. How must he be feeling? He must have been buzzing
during the Rock's segment as well.
Yeah, during and they're all chanting what that trick. He must have been. But again, it's why? Why is he so over? Why?
No idea.
Kind of just took to him. I don't know.
It's
Everyone
weird
just loves him
because it's strange where some wrestlers have struggled to get over and others haven't. And we kind of look, Killian Cross.
Yeah,
he struggled and he's really.
Yeah.
Someone said to me, "What during the week?" Actually, someone said, "What do you reckon that's like? What's happened with him?" And I think what's damaged his character was when he was first called up, and he wore that stupid mask. I think he's never really recovered from it. The same with Gargano. Now Gargano was and Ciampa were huge in NXT.
Yeah,
and they've come up, and obviously they both left. They both come back, and it's like they don't know what to do with them. They haven't got over like they were. I think going away and doing bits of damage both of them, and I don't think they've been. That's why they've stuck them together because I don't know. They've not know how to work them. They've tried to get them over, and they're just not over.
I do think the fans are starting to react to them a little bit more now. I think the fans are starting to see how good they are. I think a lot of them, like, we know how good they are. I've been watching them for 7-8 years on NXT. Yeah. But again, that just throws me back to the Trick Williams thing. Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa were a billion times bigger in NXT than what Trick Williams is. A billion times bigger than him. Yeah, you didn't have a SmackDown crowd during a Rock segment chanting for them.
No.
I've never heard it before. It's like, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It was unbelievable that you had that many people chanting for Trick Williams during a Rock segment. So they have to go right. I mean, he's only appeared on SmackDown once, and it was for a few seconds because obviously they brought Carmelo up.
Yeah,
Mello and Trick were in, it was before Mello had turned on him, and Carmelo were getting beat up. So Trick Williams came out to help him. And I think that was a taster. It was, let's see if the crowd know who he is, and obviously they did because he got a brilliant reaction. But then if they'd have been chanting like "Whoop that Trick" the week after, and I've been a little bit more like, well, they obviously like him. They're saying that they want more of him, but that was like 2 months after.
Yeah.
Like, that's at least 2 months after he came out on SmackDown as like a surprise. For them to just randomly start chanting that loud for him, it's unbelievable. And do you know what? Fair play to him.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think
there's two things I want to do just before we go.
Yeah.
Firstly, what do you think about Candice LeRae? They're obviously turning her heel, and I think now she's done it again. I kind of feel like, okay, I'm getting this now. Maybe that's what she needed because she weren't getting over as a babyface, and people have now started. Not only that, she's now even starting to taunt people on Twitter. Yeah. Maxine, she taunted as well again about her dead brother, and I was like, so she's going all out. She's going all out.
Yeah, I love it, and do you know what?
All out. So.
The only thing that I weren't keen on was at the end of the match where she kept going, "Are you okay? Is your knee okay?" She just kind of overdid it a little bit, but she'll learn. She'll get better. She's been more of a babyface than a heel in her entire wrestling career. She has been a heel before, but it's definitely done more work as a babyface. And I think
you've got to think as well. You remember her alter ego, which is the Poison Pixie.
Yeah.
Normally sort of associated with a heel character. So
the Way was a heel faction, wasn't it? Heels. I just I don't know what they're going to do with Indy, because I know you're more of a fan of Indy Hartwell than I am. I know you really like her. I think she's got potential, but you kind of feel like she needs something to accelerate her, because I think she can wrestle and she's definitely got something, but I think they sort of, they didn't know what to do with her, so they put her with Dexter Lumis, and the whole Indy Dexter thing was quite good. Where's he gone, by the way?
Yeah, and Cameron Grimes, by the way, as well. Where's old Grimy gone?
Grimes.
Yeah, both of them are just gone. There's two. They weren't the other two things. The first thing, how did you feel about the main event on Raw? Becky Lynch and
do you know what?
Nia.
Me and you have slagged Nia off a lot on this podcast.
Well, no, I've actually liked Nia Jax. I've got to say, I've always liked her. I don't understand all the hate she gets. Though she has injured a few people.
Yeah.
There's been other stars that have done the same and haven't got the mega heat that she did. And she's come back. They've sort of, it's weird because she's come back and they're like, oh, she's going to injure people. And actually, it's been a lot quieter on terms of it. But that match, I think she done remarkably well. It showed what she can do when they sort of go out.
But by the way, you're playing it down now, Kevin. I'm going to call you out on your bullshit, because we've got video evidence from years ago of you laughing at her, and you was calling her Botch Nia. That was your nickname for her.
She was. She did.
But what I'm saying is, over the years, both of us have given her a lot of shit, but at the time, rightly so, because like if you go back like 3 years when you was calling her Botch Nia and we were both laughing at how dangerous she was injuring female wrestlers on a weekly basis. Like, it weren't just one or two. She went through like a 5 or 6 week stint where she was injuring a lot of people. She's
not like when you watch Becky fight, you can see that she's quite safe. I think a bit like I think she's a bit like, say, like, I think she works a bit stiff.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened with her and Charlotte. Do you remember they had a proper gripe in the ring?
Yeah.
And I've got a funny feeling that was because I think Nia Jax just works more stiff.
Do you
So
know, but do you know what? I was really happy for her, and because that
yeah,
match was brilliant, and I think the fact that it allowed Becky to shine as well, because I think with Becky, obviously someone who we're we're friends with in our Facebook group. Mick doesn't obviously like Becky Lynch at all. He's always slagging her off. I don't get it. I've always really liked Becky Lynch, and I think she's pretty good in the ring. The only point that he has made that I do agree with, because a lot of the stuff that he goes on about with Becky Lynch, I don't agree with. I
yeah,
do think she can wrestle. I do think she's good in the ring, but I do find with her, for Becky to look really good, she has to be in the ring with a very good opponent. If
yeah.
she's in the ring with someone who isn't very good, she doesn't look great either. Whereas
And
people like Rhea Ripley or Asuka, or I don't know what's happened to Charlotte. I know she's out injured again now, but before her injury, that 2-3 month period, which she didn't look very good at all. It's the worst I've ever seen her look. Even going back to her NXT days, I don't know what's happened with Charlotte, but a few years ago with Charlotte, there's obviously very, very good female wrestlers who, doesn't matter who they're in the ring with, they will still look good.
yeah,
Becky isn't that. Like, she needs to be in there with someone who's very, very good. And I think if you find any wrestling fan and you say to them a couple of months ago that the main event of Raw is going to be Becky Lynch versus Nia Jax, they'd have gone, is fucking Vince McMahon back in charge? What's this shit? That match is going to be awful. It's going to suck. Because you would think, well, Becky needs to be in the ring with someone like a Bianca Belair, someone who's athletic, someone that's fast, and that isn't Nia Jax. So
no,
you would think, so Becky's not going to look good against Nia, and Nia obviously is limited in what she can do. I think that just kind of blew that out of the water. I thought
yeah,
the match was definitely, and fair play to Triple H, because I'm sure with having DIY versus the Creed brothers opening up the match, there was a lot of other matches on that night that they could have had instead of that as main event.
mm,
And I think you'd have had a lot of WWE fans going, "Why is this the main event?" I know it's a no DQ match, but a
last one was
last
standing.
one standing. I know it's a last one standing match, but why is this main event like it's Becky and Nia? It's not going to be that great quality. But then you watch the match, and it's an unbelievable match. They both look fantastic.
Tables. They all went.
It,
Both went through
yeah,
tables.
yeah.
There was everything. There was everything.
And
Kendo stick, you name it.
there is that thing of that this kind of myth that Nia Jax refuses to take big bumps. She's scared to hurt
Yeah.
herself. She won't take big bumps. Well, she allowed Becky Lynch to throw her off the side of the apron through a table, so she will take big bumps when it's when it's
Yeah.
necessary. I
And
just think,
she hurt her hole again. It's quite funny now
I
because every
love it.
time we see her, like she always
Yeah,
go like the same spot every time. If you watch her, she did the same
yeah.
spot last week
But
as
she
well.
doesn't say it anymore, does she? She doesn't
No,
say I
she
hope
runs
anymore.
along the apron and she always misses and then lands and she goes like that.
Oh,
And you're like,
yeah.
oh, your hole. And just like
But I didn't. I turned the volume. I rewound it and turned the volume up, and I didn't hear any fans doing it this time.
no.
But when she did it a few weeks ago in the match before, all the fans started chanting "My hole, my hole, my hole." So
Um,
just to quickly finish off, I would like to apologise to Nia Jax because I've given her a lot of shit over the years, and I think
it's good.
she's changed everyone's mind
Yeah.
after that match, including my own. She's
She's
actually
obviously left
capable of doing
WWE.
more
She's
than
gone
what.
away. Yeah, she's obviously gone away and improved and has come back. I know as well when she went away, she was with Mojo Rawley, if anyone remembers him.
Yeah,
She was training a lot with him, and I mean a lot.
yeah.
So I'm wondering whether she's gone away and she's gone. Maybe I need
Yeah.
to
Just
train it up.
and just quickly as well. If they carry on now with this momentum, I'm not saying put her in like stipulated matches all the
Yeah,
time. We don't want every match with Nia Jax being a steel cage or an ODQ. We don't know. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, if she's allowed to show her talent and her potential more often now moving forward in matches, get her in good rivalries against good wrestlers, she could be really beneficial to Triple H, WWE, and the women's roster for years to come.
Yeah.
Because like she's the Andre Giant of the women's world. Like when you look at her, you're like, she's like 6'1" or something. She's 6'1".
She's a big
You
girl.
look at her and you think, for a woman, like we're both grown ass men. If she cornered you and said, "Kevin, I'm going to knock your head off," you go, "I'm sorry, please don't hit me."
She's a bit like Rhea because she does hit the guys and she throws them around. So yeah, but there's one little thing just before we go.
Yeah.
What do you think about Shayna Baszler, GCW?
I was shocked. I'll be honest. When you sent it me, I don't think I replied to that. How rude! I apologise, Kevin.
No,
very
I
unlike
remember.
me. It's very unlike me to not reply. But I was really shocked. I was really shocked.
Someone put two quotes on Twitter. One of them was "Forbidden Door." What Forbidden Door? And someone said, "Do you remember Triple H saying that the Forbidden Door thing was all bollocks and he didn't really understand like any of it?" Well, this just proves that there isn't really one. And if WWE wants to, they can do this. And someone said as well, I think it was the Dirt Sheet, they said that this sort of thing may be a sort of continuing thing. So you may see more of their wrestlers going to independent shows.
Well,
something that Triple H would like to do. So
with Jordan Grace obviously appearing in the Women's Rumble match, the fact that WWE now might have a working relationship with TNA, I think is like wow.
Yeah.
Obviously similar with it's different with AEW and Ring of Honor because Tony owns both companies, so it's not really it's not two companies in a partnership. It's the same owner. So Ring of Honor is now just an extension of AEW. They basically should just rename it AEW Ring of Honor. Like like how they've got AEW Dynamite, AEW Rampage. Ring of Honor should just be a show of AEW because it's owned by the same guy, so it's the same thing.
Yeah, and they appear on both shows as well. So
whereas I think with TNA and WWE, that's an actual partnership. It's a genuine partnership, and I think if wrestling, what a brilliant kind of business model moving forward for the whole industry of wrestling. If you've got obviously what is a partnership with AEW, which me and you and more WWE fans than AEW give them credit, they're having a partnership with NJPW, which is fantastic. Obviously, but now WWE potentially with TNA, also with the other Japanese promotion, which is currently escaping. I can't remember the name of it, but there's another Japanese promotion.
I
can't remember, but it's not NJPW. It's another Japanese wrestling promotion that WWE are now working with. So I think in terms of the wrestling industry moving forward, the fact that by the way, I have to mention this. I'm so glad it just popped into my head. Did you see the sign on SmackDown that said "Push Dijak"?
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying. Like for the first time, we're watching main roster shows where fans are asking for NXT stars. We had that trick, and we had a sign that said "Push Dijak" on the same show. So but I've actually seen a lot of grumblings on Twitter. People going, Dijak's character is really cool. Yes, it's basically a rip off of the Terminator, but his character is really cool. It's interesting and different. I think the match that he had at the NXT pay-per-view against Joe Gacy was fantastic, but he's not really being used. So if WWE now moving forward have no plans for Dijak, they have no creative direction for him, why not let him go and do a few matches in TNA?
Yeah, or GCW, because
and
I was just surprised because GCW is that sort of it's what I would imagine ECW it would be if ECW was still about, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
GCW has filled that gap where they allow the fans near enough around the ring, literally touching the ring, and they just do crazy old shit. But I was surprised that Shayna Baszler's appearing. Completely, because I was like, oh wow. So Shayna Baszler, have they said, can we get someone, or Shayna Baszler approached them and said, I would like to go to GCW? I don't know, because there's a lot of potential there. AEW stars have appeared there as well. Darby Allin, Moxley. They've all appeared there. So there's huge potential.
It does kind of pose the question of why Shayna Baszler not being used for WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah, because I don't know. They've really. This all goes back to what is in Becky's book, by the way. This all goes back to when she had the thing with Becky, and they buried her.
Yeah, and she's never recovered. Like she's the only person, man or woman, to eliminate every competitor in an elimination chamber match. She beat all 5, eliminated all 5 of them. And if you then after that, she got in the rivalry against Becky Lynch. She bit her. And then the match at Mania, Becky obviously wanted to drop the belt, or whatever pay-per-view it was.
Yeah.
Becky wanted to drop the belt to Baszler, and Vince said no. And it's amazing how different it could have been had they have put the belt on Shayna then, because she were piping on, and she looked amazing. And after that, Shayna's never recovered. She's never looked anywhere near the same. No. It's a shame. Because she's talented. Her. She's very, very.
Well, not only that, I believe when she was NXT women's champion, I think she was the longest reigning NXT champion, only losing it to Kairi Sane for like a month.
Yeah, and then she got it back, and then she dropped it. She dropped it to Rhea, didn't she, the second time round? Yeah.
Look! We could go on for this for ages, but we've got to leave it there because we've gone over the hour mark. But yeah, thanks guys for listening. Make sure you subscribe, comment as always. Yeah. Catch us next week, same time, same place. I've obviously been Kev.
I've been Dan. See you next time, guys.
Yeah, and we will see you next time, guys. Take it easy.